Have you ever wondered how pepper is made? Have you ever really thought about that little shaker of black pepper on your table? It sits there so quietly, right next to the salt, a constant companion to almost every meal we eat. But how did it get there? What journey did this tiny, wrinkled speck travel to become one of the most familiar flavors in the world? Its story is not a small one. It is a tale filled with ancient forests, hot sun, and long, perilous voyages across vast oceans. This humble berry, no bigger than a pea, didn't just add a little kick to our food. It sparked explorations, built fortunes, and fundamentally changed the way the entire world eats. Imagine, for a moment, the humid, tangled green of India's Malabar coast, thousands of years ago. Here, a climbing vine, Piper nigrum, grew wild, winding its way up trees in the dense tropical forests. Its flowers were small and white, almost shy. From these flowers, clusters of green berries would form, hanging like tiny, hard grapes. The people of this region didn't just use it for flavor, they understood its power. Pepper was medicine, a way to soothe coughs and aid digestion. It was also a preservative, a magical dust that could help mask the not-so-fresh taste of meat in a time before refrigeration. The warmth it provided was comforting, a welcome sensation in both food and remedies. For centuries, this potent little berry was a local treasure, its sharp, aromatic magic confined to the kitchens and apothecaries of its native land. But a secret this good, a flavor this powerful, was never going to stay in one place for long. The story of pepper is, at its heart, a story of connection. It begins with the simple act of tasting something new and wanting to share it. The first traders who stumbled upon it must have been astounded. They carried it out of the forests, first on foot, then by cart to bustling coastal markets. Here, the scent of dried pepper mixed with cardamom, cinnamon, and cloves, creating an intoxicating perfume that promised distant lands and untold riches. The berry began its slow but steady journey, passed from hand to hand, its value growing with every mile it traveled away from its jungle home. The desire for pepper spread like wildfire. It trickled out of India and into the Roman Empire, where it became the ultimate status symbol. The wealthy coveted it, using it lavishly in their feasts to display their immense fortunes. Cooks in Roman kitchens would grind it into sauces. They would sprinkle it over roasted meats. Its exotic heat was a sign of worldliness and power. It was so precious that it was sometimes used like money, to pay taxes or ransoms. Can you imagine? A sack of these tiny dried berries could be worth more than a man's life. This incredible value is what sent ships sailing into the unknown. Think of those early sailors, their wooden ships creaking as they pushed off from the shores of the Arabian Peninsula or the Mediterranean coast. Their maps were incomplete, their destinations whispered rumors. They were chasing a flavor. They sailed for months, storms, pirates, disease, all for a chance to reach the fabled spice lands of the East. When they finally arrived at the bustling port cities of India, they found markets overflowing with the source of their quest. Crates of black peppercorns, smelling of earth and heat, loaded into the holds of their ships for the long, treacherous journey back home. Back in Europe, the arrival of a spice ship was a momentous event. As trade routes expanded and pepper became slightly more accessible, it began to trickle down from the palaces of kings to the kitchens of ordinary people. This is where the real magic happened. Before pepper, European food could be, well, a little one-dimensional. Salt was the primary seasoning used mainly for preservation, but pepper introduced a whole new sensation. A clean, pungent heat that didn't just overpower food but lifted it, making every other flavor shine a little brighter. It was a revelation. A dash of pepper could cut through the richness of fatty meats and add surprising warmth to simple vegetable stews. Imagine a cook in a medieval kitchen, a smoky room filled with the smell of roasting meat and wood fire. For years, their spice rack might have held only salt and a few local herbs. Then a small pouch of ground black pepper arrives. That first pinch, hesitantly sprinkled into a familiar pot of soup, would have been transformative. The soup is no longer just savory. It has a new depth, a gentle fire that lingers on the tongue. This small act, repeated in kitchens across the continent, slowly began to build the foundations of modern Western cuisine. Pepper taught us how to balance flavors. The partnership of salt and pepper was born. Salt enhances flavor, making food taste more like itself. Pre-ground pepper, which could lose its potency over time, and freshly ground peppercorns. This led to the invention of the pepper mill, a small, beautiful tool designed to unlock the berry's aromatic oils at the very last moment. The ritual of grinding pepper over a finished dish became a part of the dining experience. The sound, the motion, the immediate burst of fragrance.